So, a supporter of mine left a comment on my ground loop video. He was asking why I have to use the ailerons on crosswind landing. Well, as most pilots know, when landing, you can use a crab method, or you can use a cross-control method of steering the nose down the runway and holding the upwind wing down into the wind. The root cause for most ground loops is actually the loss of directional control, which can be a combination of things with a tailwheel aircraft. So watch closely as this plane comes into land. You can tell that by landing on one wheel, he is doing the crosswind correction with the ailerons, and he is keeping the nose straight down the runway with the rudder. But as soon as he got the other tail or the other main wheel down, he got the tail down, and he took out that crosswind correction. And it doesn't matter what you do with that rudder, if the wind gets underneath that wing and the wind pushes it over, this is what's going to happen. And you're going to do a lot of damage to your aircraft, if not total it completely. So, just making sure that you keep that crosswind correction in all the way down the runway, and even when you're taxiing. This may not be necessary in a Cessna per se, but in all tailwheel aircraft, it is something that you will be taught and you will learn how to do. So this is a video that the supporter had asked me to take a look at and compare. And this is a stall competition. He's way above the ground, and yes, he did stall the one wing, and he stopped producing lift on one wing. In this example, when we are doing a crosswind correction on landing, we're doing it when one wheel or two wheels are contacting the ground, and then all the way following through after the landing's been completed. But you keep that crosswind correction to keep the wind from being able to get underneath the wing and lifting it up. Now here is a perfect example of the crosswind correction on takeoff. And if you take a look here, his crosswind correction is almost full over, and that's exactly what you're taught to do in a tailwheel aircraft. You hold it full over, and as you gain or lose airspeed, when you're taking off, you're going to slowly let it out, and when you're coming into land, you're going to slowly put it in, and you're always going to hold that crosswind correction, because the last thing you want to do is you want that wing to come up. That's on the upwind side, and the downwind side will strike the ground and ultimately cause the ground loop, where you'll spin around, you'll do a bunch of damage. Sometimes you get lucky and you don't do any damage, but in a lot of cases that's not what happens. So in this example, he's going to hold this crosswind correction all the way down and into this turn. The only thing that I would do different is when he does get turned around, well, now the wind is on the other side, and he still has that hard left crosswind correction in there. Even though he kind of straightens it out and pulls the elevator back, I would have flipped it all the way to the other side to make sure that to hold that wing down now that the wind is coming from the opposite direction. But anyways, when he gets turned back around and he takes off again, he puts in the left correction just like he had it on the first takeoff, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. So this is John with fly8mikealpha.com, and he's going to go through this landing in a champ, and he'll talk about what he's doing with the crosswind landing and how he's doing it, and it's exactly what I was trying to go with when it comes to avoiding ground loops. So take a look here, and he's got some great content over at fly8mikealpha.com, so make sure to go visit him after you watch this.
And now we do have a little bit of a crosswind here from the left, so I'm going to be touching the left main wheel first, just like you would in a nose dragger airplane. Adding a little power here to keep my airspeed up and keep my descent rate low. Start to arrest that descent with power. Just working it down the runway here, and right about there is the main wheel. We got one wheel down, power out, holding the airplane there, two wheels down. Keeping the stick over to the left, pushing the stick forward a little bit. And it seems like the airplane's tilted, because it is. It's got long movement oleo struts. So those oleo struts have a long throw there. And I'm working forward. My follow through on this landing is actually to get the stick all the way over to the left and all the way forward, since we have that left crosswind, and I'm trying to get the tail off the ground. And there, the tail sets down on its own. I bring the stick all the way back, pin the tail to the ground, and that's it, we've landed. Now that whole time I was really dancing on my rudder pedals to keep the nose going perfectly straight. That is the biggest key here. Touching down with any sort of yaw will make the airplane want to veer off the side of the runway or possibly ground loop.
Anyways, guys, I want to thank John for all of his great content over at fly8mikealpha.com. He has a Patreon, so you can go and support him. But I will, in the description below, I'll go ahead and put his YouTube, and you can go over to his YouTube and take a look at him. But anyways, I think you guys get the drift. Ground loops are easy in tailwheel aircraft. Obviously, that's kind of the nature of them if you're not on top of it. I use that term, pushing a shopping cart backwards, because that's exactly how it is. So anyways, yeah, if you go to get your tailwheel endorsement, or you want to get into tailwheel aircraft, it's really fun. It's a really interesting addition to your learning to being a pilot, and it makes you a better pilot than any other plane that you get into. So yeah, I encourage anybody to go out there, find a tailwheel instructor if you can find one. They're kind of hard to find these days. But when you do, take advantage of it and, get your tailwheel endorsement. And, hopefully you'll never have to experience a ground loop. But there goes the saying that it's not if, it's when. So when you do experience it, hopefully no damage or anything comes to you. But even the most experienced pilots, even myself, have done a ground loop right after I finished my tailwheel endorsement. And didn't damage the aircraft, but just a little shaken up. And hey, it happens to everybody. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, comment. Have a good day.